Hello, minasan. This is Yuki. And in case you have been way too happy recently and you are looking for a really dark, tragic, sad drama type of manga, then I have what it takes to literally change your whole mood. So I went through some old manga that I read during middle school, high school, even later on. Like, and I remember that I had a really edgy taste at some point, and I was thinking like, why not share this with people? Why not let them know that there are such really heartbreaking manga out there that they can read and get destroyed emotionally. So I'm going today to talk about a total of 7 tragic mangas, and I'll start from the shortest to the longest. And the reason why I'm picking this kind of method is because, of course, if you read less chapters, then you are less likely to be hurt for a long time. There are less trigger warning, less red flags. The more elaborated and complicated the story is, the more likely you're gonna be hurt for a really, really long time. So, the first one I would like to introduce to you today is Tokidoki, which is a manga that has been produced in 2016. It's a one-shot, and it's about our main protagonist Hatsu Takagi, who has the Kukuhaku disease. And it means that it's a really rare condition where her heart can only beat for a certain number of times in her lifetime. And she has a device attached to her heart to calculate her heartbeat and everything. However, after one incident, she expressed her true desire to Hato Ijima, one of her classmates, to freely and wholeheartedly experience every second she has left. Recognizing her wish, Hato swears to help her enjoy her life to the fullest and make her heart beat like crazy. I was like, oh my god. I mean, I don't know, I'm not gonna spoil you because it's a one shot, but I really love that. Like, even though the ending is quite predictable, it's nothing that you would beat your mind over guessing. However, I think it's still worth it. And the drawing is so cute. And if I'm not wrong, it's the same artist as Nisukoi. So if you love Nisukoi, it may be good to support the artist and the mangaka. The next manga I would like to speak about is called Watashitachi no Shiawase na Jikan. If we translate to English, it will be Our Happy Times. It was released in 2008, has 8 chapters, and it's about our protagonist, the girl whose name is Jurimoto, who's the daughter of a now famous pianist. And this famous pianist, her career came to an end when she gave birth to her daughter. The protagonist, Jurimoto, she had 3 failed suicide attempts due to a lot of complication in dark past, and her aunt, who's working as a nun, invited her to meet a death row inmate called Yu, who killed 3 people. I'm not sure how the nun saw the commonalities, why she thought that it would be very meaningful for Juri to meet you, or in which way she can see the connection or the healing aspect. But I think this is where you as the watchers should give this manga a chance. So moving on to the next manga on my list today, this one is called Boku wa Nandodemo Kimi ni Hajimete koi suru, which means, I think in English, you will be always or no matter what my first love, and it was released in 2016. It has 13 chapters and it talks about our protagonist Se, whom, unlike many people her age, she's a rather pessimistic person. This has been the case until she met the mysterious boy called Hana, and because of his words, she starts to think a lot differently. And then she meets him again, and then she realizes something is unusual about him. Something doesn't feel quite right. I'm not gonna tell you further about it. I hope you give it a chance. It's a really short manga, but it's so... yeah. You should just read it. Now moving on to one of my really favorite sad manga I've read long ago, and probably one of those shows that keeps living in your heart through many stages in your life, and each time you think about sad manga, the name pops up. It's called Hana to Akuma. It was released in 2007 and it has 58 chapters. And I don't know really how to summarize how much this show has been close to my heart, but to put it simple, it's about this human girl called Hana. She was raised since she was a baby by the group of demons. And then when she was 14 years old, she started taking a liking to the person who raised her, who's called Vivi. He's a 200-year-old demon who found her in the castle as an orphan. However, being around a handsome demon who's ageless and protective of hers proves to be extremely a difficult task. Hana eventually becomes really aware of her own feelings toward Vivi, and that when we say feelings, of course, romantic feelings, and she tries to find ways to make Vivi aware of her or notice her more. But of course, it's still a tragic manga. It has its bittersweet moments. Not gonna tell you further about it, but just be mentally prepared to accept that. Now let's speak about Oboreru Knife. It's a manga that was released in 2016. It has a live-action drama and 64 chapters. And the story revolves around our protagonist, Natsume Mochizuki, who lives in Tokyo with a job as a model against her father's wishes. However, things happen in her life and she finds herself forced to go back from Tokyo to her seaside town. When this heartbroken, really annoyed Natsume goes back to her town, she finds herself mysteriously drawn toward a boy named Koichiro Hasegawa. And Koichiro Hasegawa comes from a really wealthy family. He's has a lot of power in his town. Nobody can oppose him. And in the eyes of Natsume, he seems like he's glowing. He's like a god in some way. However, these two radiant people, when they come together, some tragic events start happening, and things start falling apart. This manga, Oboreru Knife, is also called Drowning Love in English. I don't know, it feels like a bit different, but that's the name they gave it to it in English. It does not portray a healthy relationship between stable characters. We should keep this in mind. Most of the characters in this manga are really terrible and are really mixed up. And the main themes that we encounter in this story are about obsession and idealization. I'm not gonna give you further details about it because, again, it feels like something that you should experience yourself and also make up your own mind about. Again, if you would rather watch the live action and not go through the manga, you should keep in mind that 2016 live action Japanese drama production might not be the best out there, and there might be some minor or major changes to the plot. There might be some aspects that you have liked in the manga that you wouldn't see there. So I would often really recommend people to go through the manga first, and if they want to watch the live action, it's up to them, and they can decide to what extent they can be tolerant or enjoy the live action eventually. Since we are still talking about beautiful people, beautiful characters who encountered tragic fate for many other reasons around them and because of themselves sometimes, then I would like to link up my talk about Oboreru Knife to another tragic and complicated manga called Akuma to Love Song. And Akuma to Love Song, I should just say it up front, it has a really age gap romance and again threats of suicide, bullying, every single dark tag that you should put in it, you can just put it to Akuma to Love Song. And Akuma to Love Song, it was produced in 2007. It has 91 chapters, and it's about our protagonist, Kawaii Maria. And Kawaii Maria was moved from her old all-girls school to this new public school with really low standards because she was, accused of hitting her teacher or something. We don't know the truth, so it's up to you to discover the truth. And so, Maria's personality is kind of really hard to deal with in general. She has a very sharp tongue and straightforward personality, which leads eventually everyone around her to hate her, except for Yusuke Kanda and Shin Meguro, who eventually get involved with her. Maria needs to deal with a lot of bullying in order to adjust, how she can learn the culture of the place she moved in, and again, romance, which seems like a very foreign topic to her. So how will a devil person cope with all these challenges? If you are curious like me, or like I was curious about the story, then feel free to give it a chance and also let me know how you felt about it. And if you have dropped it at any point, I mean, that's totally fine. I understand it's a very difficult manga to read in general. The reason why I swapped Akuma to Love Song and Dengeki Daisy order, although Dengeki Daisy has less chapter than Akuma to Love Song, is because I felt like we shouldn't really finish on like high note of depressing, sad feelings. We should maybe pick another tragic, sad manga that again has a little bit of shiny, little bit of positive vibes to it. And Dengeki Daisy, it's one of the classics, I would say. It has 75 chapters, and it's about 16-year-old girl, Teru, who's strong-willed, she's very kind. However, she's feeling extremely lonely after the death of her older brother. Her only cell phone with a contact number called Daisy, and he told her before that if you ever disappear, if something happens to me, there is this person called Daisy on the other end of the phone, and he will be able to talk to you, to cheer you up, to give you the necessary support, and to be there by your side without you ever meeting him, but still he will be there for you. However, one afternoon, the bullies from the student council who has been harassing her for a really long time have disappeared or driven away in a mysterious way. She doesn't know why they stopped bullying her, she doesn't know what happened exactly. And she accidentally ends up breaking one of the school windows where she was studying, and the result was that she had to get on contact with this really scary and cruel school janitor named Tasuku Kurosaki. So, as a punishment for her for breaking the school window, she has to work with the school janitor, who's rumored to be really evil, and we don't know anything about him. So, I hope she is well. And also, eventually, as you might have already figured, she starts caring about Daisy. Who is Daisy? Why he's supporting her? Is she actually being helped indirectly by him when she tells him about her worries? Then you should just read it. That's it in terms of recommendation from me today about tragic and dark manga. I hope that you like them and that you, again, try to read some of them and let me know which ones you like, how you feel about some of them if you have already tried them. And yeah, that's it. Thank you. Bye bye.